My dad served in the army and lost his right eye, but flew a flag in his backyard until the day that he died.
André.
What, Sarah?
We need to learn more about aircraft carriers. They seem so crazy.
They are crazy. Aircraft carriers, oh man. Okay, I have a special video for us, Sarah.
Good.
The title of the video goes, Why America Needs 11 aircraft carriers. Sarah, say hello to our friends.
Hi guys.
Our friends, thank you so much for all the support. We really appreciate that. That said, Sarah, ask them for the most important thing.
Guys, leave a like, thumbs up.
And if they subscribe,
You make our day.
damn right. The link below for the original video. Actually, one more thing. There is a new button now on YouTube that you can hype a video. Please do it. Helps a lot. And let's go.
Aircraft carriers are so important to the US government that there is
They
a
are.
federal law mandating the minimum number of operational
Oh.
carriers that the US Navy must have. That number is 11. But how did they come up with
That's such a crazy number. Sarah, you know most countries have 0.
Yeah, but makes sense. They are the strongest military in the world. They have 11. Of course they have.
Fair point.
this number? And why is there so much emphasis on aircraft carriers and not on other types of ships? The number of aircraft carriers, the size of the US Navy,
Yes, the size.
Okay, Sarah, what's the song that comes to our head when we see this?
Good morning, US.
No. What you gonna do when they
they
come for you, bad boy?
and the size of the US military as a whole all follow a simple formula that's based on two major wars. But it's not what you think.
No?
Being the
Why
most
are we seeing the mustache guy? What the hell is this edition?
powerful is not the same thing as being powerful enough.
Oh, I
You
didn't
often
know.
hear that the United States has the largest
You know what? They can shoot missiles.
Yeah.
I don't think they can actually. Wait, maybe they can. Oh my god, the guy.
I thought the aircraft carriers were only for air support.
Yeah. I knew you would say that. Yeah, I also thought that.
Okay.
Maybe they actually can protect themselves, kind of.
Oh, yes. Because if the enemy try to destroy them, they have to have weapons. Okay, makes sense.
It's so expensive, you have no idea. This
Okay,
is
no, I
billions.
don't have.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It is billions and billions.
Okay.
Sorry, you already made me cry.
Oh, cool.
No, but you made me laugh. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
same thing as being powerful enough. You often hear that the United States has the largest and most powerful navy in the world. But just being number one is not necessarily sufficient. Just like how
Really?
any
Why?
MMA champion would be overwhelmed if they face multiple opponents at once, the most powerful military may also not be able to defeat the combined forces of multiple nations. So the question is,
Talking about multiple nations, I end up sharing this joke in a live, but I need to tell you this joke. Sorry, my
Okay.
friend, sensitive moment. Skip this part if you don't like dark jokes.
Okay.
Do you know there is no Walmart at Iran?
Yeah, because he's American.
No. There is no Walmart at Iran because there is only Targets.
Oh,
how much power is enough?
we are going to hell.
No, well, yes.
So the question is, how much power is enough?
Okay.
The United States military doctrine is based around power projection. Power projection, simply put, is the ability of a country to deploy and sustain forces outside of their territory. To accommodate this, there are currently about 750 US foreign military bases spread across 80 nations around the world.
Okay, to be fair, now being serious, this is basically what they are doing in Iran right now. They are showing power outside of America, basically.
Okay.
But the United States' primary means of power projection, especially where permanent basing is limited, is the Navy. And this is precisely why there is so much emphasis on aircraft carriers.
Okay.
Where is the closest aircraft carrier? They say that's the first question that US presidents ask at the time of a crisis. But it's really the air wing assigned to the aircraft carrier that the presidents are interested in. The carrier is just a floating airbase. The primary role of any aircraft carrier is to enable operation of the air wing that it carries. Kind of like how bread is just a vehicle for delivering butter. And the true power projection that aircraft carriers are known for is really enabled by the airplanes in the carrier air wing, which can project tactical air power over long distances, including airborne early warning, air interdiction, and air-to-surface warfare. In fact, the same law that currently demands the US Navy to have a minimum of 11 aircraft carriers also requires a minimum of 9 carrier air wings. But how did the US government come up with the number 11?
Yeah.
Great question.
The US Navy's 11 supercarriers are more than all other nations' aircraft carriers combined. And that's just...
Oh, so even if you put China and Russia and the rest of the world, they have more... I thought it was the same or... Wait, okay, never mind. I guess, yeah, they are very ass.
Supercarriers are more than all other nations' aircraft carriers combined. And that's just in quantity. Displacement aside, the American aircraft carriers are all nuclear-powered, giving them unlimited range. But not all 11 supercarriers are deployable simultaneously. At any given time, about a third are in maintenance yards dealing with upgrades and overhauls, a third are undergoing training and preparation, and a third are on deployment. Even though, if needed, more carriers could be rushed into deployment, the total number of deployable supercarriers is far from the nominal 11. In practice, 2 to 3 supercarriers are deployed at any given time, and that is enough. Enough to fight 2 wars in 2 separate regions of the world at once and decisively win both.
No, that's one of the most impressive things about the American military is that they can fight 2 wars at the same time. It's kind of crazy.
Under President Lyndon B. Johnson, the US Armed Forces were sized to be able to fight 2 wars at the same time. At some point, even a half war was added to be fought in the Third World. When Nixon took office in 1969, the formula was changed to accommodate fighting 1.5 wars simultaneously. Each president after that somewhat modified this strategy. But the basic measure still seems to be defined as the ability to fight in 2 geographically separated regions of the world nearly simultaneously. This is referred to as 2 major regional contingencies strategy or 2 major theater wars strategy. The ability to deter and defeat large-scale cross-border aggression in 2 distant theaters in overlapping timeframes is key for the United States to remain a global power and maintain its worldwide interests. The most recent example of this strategy in action is the 2 overlapping major wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Iraq War started in 2003, overthrowing Saddam Hussein, and the official withdrawal of US troops was completed in 2011. Although the mismanagement of the power vacuum following Saddam's demise gave prominence to ISIS in 2014, followed by the re-involvement of US troops. In parallel, the war in Afghanistan started in 2001 and went on for 20 years.
But I could be saying something very wrong here, but I think ISIS is done already. It's not a threat anymore. Or it's not a threat like it was back in the day.
In February of 2020, the US and Taliban signed an agreement in Qatar, where Taliban agreed to take unspecified action to prevent other groups, including Al-Qaeda, from using Afghan soil to threaten the US and its allies, in return for full withdrawal of all international forces from Afghanistan. By August 31, 2021, as the whole world was watching, the US and allied forces had hastily departed from Kabul, putting the Taliban back in control of the country.
Honestly, this was very controversial at the time. I don't know why I don't know why they end up leaving the country, because Taliban's now control the country again. I don't understand what Americans thought here, but most people, again, my friends, feel free to correct me. I think this was a miscalculation by America. Kind of rare, but I think it was a mistake, because right now the problem, I guess, is back. You know what I mean?
But this idea of fighting 2 wars at once goes back to the late 19th and early 20th century. The late 19th century was a time of territorial expansion for the United States. In 1898 alone, the United States annexed Hawaii, acquired Guam and Puerto Rico, and purchased the Philippines from Spain for $20 million. With some of those islands being in the Pacific and the rest in the Atlantic, Navy presence was required in both oceans. The completion of the Panama Canal in 1914 allowed the crossing of ships from one side to the other, which meant the US Navy could be present in both oceans without having twice as many ships. But by the 1930s, with the rise of new regional powers to the west and the decline of the Royal Navy to protect the United States against threats from the east, it became necessary for defense planners to consider the possibility of confronting two threats simultaneously, from Germany on the east and from Japan on the west. The result was the 1940 Vincent Walsh Act, also known as the Two-Ocean Navy Act, which funded a 70% increase in the size of the US Navy fleet. This was the largest naval procurement bill in US history, authorizing $8.5 billion at the time for a naval expansion program that put emphasis on aircraft and aircraft carriers. This resulted in the construction of 18 aircraft carriers and expansion of air and naval facilities across the Pacific. Now, it's one thing to come up with a concept or strategy, like one that allows for fighting and winning two major wars simultaneously. But it's a whole other thing to actually come up with the numbers. How many Army divisions, how many Air Force fighter wings, and how many Navy carrier strike groups are required to support such a strategy? And within each one, say the Navy, how many and what types of ships are exactly needed? The US Navy's.
Okay, I think that World War I and World War II, no, not I think, I know this, made America go to the next level, basically.
Yes,
and
they have to.
They have to, yeah. But since then, they have been increasing the gap more and more, from what I understand. I guess China nowadays is pretty good, but it's not even close. So, I mean, maybe in the future, who knows? But for now, it's not close. But it's nowadays with the war in Iran, I also saw the government. I should not say the government, but people say it was maybe the Iran government, to be fair, putting some AI videos, so fakes basically, showing the aircraft carrier in flames and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because if America loses one aircraft carrier in this war, it's a major loss for them at the end of the day, because they are really, really expensive.
This is their weakness.
It's not weakness. I mean, weakness in the sense that if they lose, but if they lose a B2 bomber, it's kind of like the same.
Yeah,
America,
2 billion, right?
Yeah, 2 billion or something.
Those
things. No, billion.
Billion, okay.
Billion would be nothing for them. But those equipments, those weapons, those jets, whatever it is, they are so expensive that you need to be sure that the enemy does not destroy. So.
The goal is to reach 355 ships by 2034. Currently, they have 298. And at the rate that they're going, retiring 2-year-old ships, it's debatable that they'll hit that goal. Remember that aircraft carriers are vulnerable on their own, which is why they never sail alone. A variety...
Yeah, that's a good point. The aircraft carrier is not in the ocean alone. There is always other ships around, destroyers and stuff like that. Because if they mess... and maybe there is jets on the aircraft carrier. So imagine if a bomb or something hits the aircraft carrier, and there is F-15s, F-22s.
Okay.
It's a totally disaster if that happens. That's why they are so protected.
Of ships are needed to support the carriers when
support. Okay.
No, yeah. It's a teamwork basically.
deployed, which is why Navy ships like cruisers, destroyers, and at times submarines and supply ships accompany carriers in a formation known as a carrier strike group. But conservative public policy organizations, notably studies done by the Heritage Foundation, call for a much bigger military. For example, not a 355-ship Navy, but a 400-ship Navy. And not 11 aircraft carriers, but 13, 12 plus 1. Okay. The one accounts for a carrier that is almost always undergoing extensive midlife overhaul. The rationale for wanting the other 12 aircraft carriers is to maintain one aircraft carrier at each of the 3 major regions of the world. Atlantic, Pacific, and the Mediterranean/Middle East. Then to have 3 additional aircraft carriers for each carrier deployed. This is to ensure that the ships, the crew, and the aircraft on board can remain healthy and effective. Less ships could mean longer deployment times, which may not be operationally realistic. The 340-day deployment of USS Nimitz, which ended in March of...
I think this video is a bit older than maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Right now, with the new administration in America, I think they end up increasing the budget quite a lot. So I think right now they are talking about trillions for the military. So maybe they will have even more ships than what the guys showing.
Probably,
2021 was the longest...
And apart from that, the world is a bit crazier now. So.
Deployment of USS Nimitz, which ended in March of 2021, was the longest deployment of any aircraft carrier since the Vietnam War. Even though the proponents of the 2 major theater wars strategy insist that no one has been able to come up with a better and more robust solution for sizing the US military, there are massive costs associated with maintaining and growing an even bigger military force, something that has proven difficult given that US military budget as a percentage of the GDP has been declining over the past few decades. In addition, other forms of threats like cyber warfare could throw a big wrench into the mix. Cyber attacks that can cause widespread disruption to communication systems in the United States, or even worse, in military command, control, and communication systems could have devastating consequences to US national security. The Two-Navy Act of 1940 was written at a time when power projection required physical presence, aircraft carriers, and aviators. That's why we love Top Gun. But would a day come when Tom Cruise stars in Top Hack?
Top Hack. I mean, now we know why they need the 11. Actually, they may need more. That's it, Sarah. Interesting videos. Say goodbye to our friends.
Bye, guys.
Bye, my friends.